Welcome to The Explainer, and today, wow, are we breaking down a wild one. One of the most chaotic, memorable Madrid derbies in a long, long time. We're talking about that stunning 5-2 victory for Atlético Madrid, a game that had absolutely everything. So yeah, let's get right into it.
7. Just 7 goals. That one number tells the entire story of this match, doesn't it? It's a story of momentum swinging back and forth, of just unbelievable individual brilliance, and then a complete and utter collapse. So how on earth did it all unfold?
All right, so let's set the scene. Right from the very first whistle, this match was just electric. Atlético Madrid came out of the gates absolutely flying. They put Real Madrid under immense pressure, immediately pushing them onto the back foot. You could tell right away they meant business.
And you know what's so interesting about those first few minutes is just how methodical Atlético were about it. They were systematically creating chances. You had Alexander Sorloth being a total menace up front, Juliana Simeone was just whipping in these dangerous crosses one after another, and Courtois, he had to make some big saves early on just to keep it scoreless. I mean, Atlético were really knocking on the door.
So with that much pressure, you just kind of felt it coming, right? A goal felt, well, it felt inevitable. And sure enough, for the home side, all that hard work paid off.
It was the defender, Robert Lenormand, who broke the deadlock. And just like the commentators said live, this was no lucky break. Not at all. This was a lead they had completely and totally earned through that early dominance.
Okay, but this is Real Madrid we're talking about. You can never count them out. Trailing in a derby, that's when you look to your superstars, right? You're waiting for that spark of inspiration, and boy, they were not disappointed.
And who else? Of course, it was him, Kylian Mbappé. Just when his team needed him most, he produces a moment of pure, undiluted magic. He levels the score and just reminds everyone, as if we needed reminding, of his insane world-class talent.
And this goal, it's the perfect illustration of how devastatingly effective he is. The commentators called it as simple a goal as you'll ever see. And they're right, but that's the beauty of it. The simplicity is what makes it so brilliant. He just drops deep, a quick 1-2, an explosive sprint into that new space, and bang, a clinical finish. It's just textbook stuff from an absolute master.
So now, all the momentum has swung their way, and you could feel it. Real Madrid wasn't done yet, not by a long shot. It was time for their young phenom, Arda Güler, to step up to the plate and, well, completely turn this game on its head.
Wow, Arda Güler. Can we just talk about the technique here? It's incredible. Hitting a bouncing ball first time with that much control, that much precision, it's just extraordinary. A wonderfully stroked, silky goal is the perfect description. And just like that, Real Madrid are ahead for the first time. It really felt like, okay, they've grabbed this derby by the horns.
So we've had this absolutely thrilling first half, and the game is just perfectly poised. Real Madrid survived that early onslaught, they fought their way back, and now they're in the lead. But the second half? Well, the second half was about to bring a massive, dramatic, and totally decisive shift.
All right, so Real goes into halftime up 2-1. They're feeling pretty good, right? Well, any sense of comfort they had was just shattered, almost instantly. We're talking right from the second half kickoff, Atlético comes storming out and bam, an immediate equalizer. It's 2-2. The game is completely reset and it's right back on a knife's edge.
So, 2-2. Everything to play for. At this point, the match could have gone either way for sure. But then, there was one single moment, one incident inside the penalty area that would change the entire course of this game.
And you can't make this stuff up. In a really cruel twist of fate, it was Real Madrid's hero from the first half, Arda Güler, who makes the critical mistake. The ref spots a high boot from him inside the box and points directly to the penalty spot. Just a massive call in such a pivotal moment of the game.
Atlético step up, and they calmly slot it home from the spot. And just like that, they're back in the lead, 3-2. But you know, this wasn't just another goal. Oh no, this was the moment that the floodgates just burst wide open.
So now, they've got the lead. The momentum is a tidal wave on their side. And Atlético Madrid, they don't just sit back and protect their lead. No, they decided to completely and utterly dismantle their biggest rivals. And then Julian Alvarez decides to put his personal stamp all over this game. He scores his second of the night, and it's this brilliant individual solo effort. The commentary called it sparkling and sensational, and they were spot on. The lead is now 4-2, and Real Madrid, They just look absolutely shell-shocked. Okay, let's just look at this timeline for a second to see how fast this all happened. The speed of this collapse is just staggering. You've got the equalizer right at 46 minutes, then the penalty at 68, Alvarez's brilliant goal at 75, and then the final nail in the coffin, a defensive mistake at 88 minutes. It was just a relentless, punishing wave that Real Madrid had absolutely no answer for.
So, wow. After all the dust settled on this incredible 7-goal thriller, what's the takeaway? What did this game actually reveal? What can we learn from one of the wildest Madrid derbies we have seen in a very long time?
Reminder of a simple truth in football. Individual brilliance, the magic from Mbappe and Güler, it can win you moments, it can even win you games, but it can't save you from a complete and total defensive collapse. Atletico's pressure, it wasn't just about creating chances, it was about creating chaos. And that chaos exposed a real fragility in Real Madrid, turning what was a super tight game into an absolute historic rout. And that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? Was this a tactical masterclass from Atletico? Did they just expertly pick apart their rivals' weaknesses? Or was this just a historic, unbelievable collapse from a Real Madrid side that totally lost its cool under pressure? Maybe, just maybe, like in most of these crazy games, the real answer is somewhere in the middle.